Yes, do find her on LinkedIn because she's not going to be here now any longer. She has to rush now. Okay, so our next group of presenters here takes us out of the traditional IT technology and more into interdisciplinary world. So my next two guests here, they combine tech disciplines such as physics, food, biology, and material science, because they are taking us into circular economy. They have found ways to turn waste into opportunities. And what those opportunities are, they're going to tell us themselves. For you coming, Linda Grieder-Kern, the founder, and Clara Hauser, the project manager and consultant. No, sorry. Project manager is right. Now I was confused because I mixed up your name before and I didn't want to take that mistake again. Okay, enjoy.
Thank you very much. Oh, be careful. Okay. I'm very happy to be here today and speak in front of so many inspiring women and men, of course, as well. But we're going to take you into a bit of a different world now. We are not in the digital metaverse area. We are like hands-on mechanical engineering, technology experts, and we will explain you maybe first who we are, Clara and I, and then we will go into details about my company and the projects we do and how we turn waste into opportunities. So the company that I founded and Clara is working for is called RethinkResource, and I think the name of the company really also describes kind of what we do. What we do is that we work with resources that have been neglected until now and mainly called waste. But we don't see it as waste. We want to make something valuable out of it, and therefore we need to be very interdisciplinary and we need to know a lot of technologies in order to be able to transfer these waste materials into high-value resources. But maybe first coming to who we are, because I think it's a lot about women today. It's about how you work in tech or maybe how you want to work in tech. And therefore, we thought we would first introduce ourselves and how we came into this world, especially since both of us kind of made a shift in our careers, mainly me as being actually a lawyer. So I have no technical background whatsoever. I'm the only one in the company actually who has no technical background at all. But I really fell in love with entrepreneurship. That was very fascinating to me. And I worked as an IP lawyer, advising a lot of startups, being in contact with a lot of new technologies, innovation, IP, and so on. And therefore, I advised a lot of startups. And doing that, I really understood that I should not advise the startups, but have one myself. And therefore, I then made the decision to found my own company, RethinkResource. Completely out of my comfort zone, because I was talking to big companies like engineering companies, food-producing companies, textile-producing companies, brands, and so on. And everyone was asking, why are you telling me how to handle my waste? You're a lawyer. But I think that was exactly the point, is that I did have a very different point of view. I had a very different background, and I had a new angle that I could bring to their businesses. And I will start talking about RethinkResource in more detail in a second, but I would like Clara to have the chance to introduce herself as well.
Thank you, Linda, and thanks for having us. So I have a bit more technical background. I'm a food scientist by training, so I studied food processing at ETH, and the typical career path for us food scientists is really to go into the food industry, maybe into quality and safety, R&D, or into the production, and working there. And I did an internship in this field, but I quickly found out that this was not so much the career path that I wanted to tap into. And that's why I looked around a bit more, and my professor was presenting RethinkResource in one of my lectures, and I was super intrigued by the concept of circular economy and also combining this with the food industry. So I applied, and 3 years later, here we are. I'm really a big advocate for circular economy and a facilitator now in this field. And I think it's really great that I can combine these two passions of myself, food science, but also the circular economy and this approach of being more sustainable and creating circular loops in our economy system. And I really enjoy it a lot. And Linda will tell you a bit more what we do, and I will show you some examples of some projects that we have been working on so far.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so RethinkResource is actually, an innovation agency, as we call ourselves. It might not trigger right away, why are we connected to technology at all, actually? As an innovation agency, we have mandates from our customers, and we work on something for them. But actually, technology plays a very relevant and central role within all of our projects. But maybe first coming towards what do we actually do within our mandates. We have 3 pillars, as we call them, that we work within for our customers. The first one being a bit boring, the strategic one, where we do innovation management and so on. But it is super, super important because circular economy or the bringing more efficiency to the industry from a resource or waste point of view often requires very interdisciplinary cross-industrial links. It requires people to work in fields that they have not worked within at the moment, because waste was just waste and it was being taken care of, getting rid of it, so nobody had to think about it. But suddenly you get challenged and have to think about what to do with it. Is it an interesting business model for the company, or I don't know, should they innovate with the material themselves, or should they sell it to someone, and whatever. So this is all very strategic decisions for them, but it requires a lot of new thinking, looking into other industries, understanding how others do it, understanding if you can combine your competences as a company with someone else's in order to make those materials circular and more sustainable. So that's the innovation management. Then, of course, there comes the very exciting one that is also a lot connected to technologies, which is the product development. So when we get a mandate to work with a product, and we should actually have brought one in order to make it a bit more tangible, what products we work with, but giving you an example, it could be like raspberry seeds, for example. You know the jam we have, the raspberry jam, it's super smooth, and actually raspberries have these little seeds in there, but we don't want to have them in our jam. So the producers just filter them out and toss them. But actually those seeds are very, very valuable. They have interesting vitamins in there, they have color, taste, whatever. And what we then get to do is have that material as a mandate and work out what you can do with it. Now, of course, looking at it from the point of view that our customer has, it would just be waste and nobody would be interested in it. But what we need to do then is start working with the material, use technology to process it. What happens to it if you heat it, if you grind it, if you whatever do with it. And what we also do is we look a lot in other industries. So we just lately had a case where we worked with a material coming from the milk industry, and we processed it with a technology coming from the automobile industry. So it's really a lot about combining different industries and getting to know how to use technologies from one in the other. And there we do a lot of product development, especially in the prototyping stage, where we get to test new products and really physically produce them for our customers, show it to them, and see how they can place it within their companies. And the third one, the circular engineering, of course, also those new technologies require new technologies being integrated in the facilities of our customers, in their factories, and therefore a lot of engineering know-how is needed in order to really implement those new technologies. This is just giving you a bit of an overview of who do we work for, what partners do we have, what's the ecosystem we work within. And for us, an ecosystem is extremely, extremely important because, as you can see, we work in a lot of different industries, we work in a lot of different branches, we do work in a lot of different fields of expertise, and we cannot have everything within RethinkResource, so we need to have a lot of partners that we can work with. And this just gives you a bit of an overview. You can also see that we have a team of 15 people, And we're all coming from very different backgrounds. It's a super interdisciplinary team, and I think there's only one background represented twice, which is actually food technology, because we're very strong in that area. But all the others have different backgrounds. So we have physicists, chemists, biochemists, engineers, material scientists, and so on. And as I said, I'm the only non-scientist in the whole company. This is how the team looks like at the moment. As you can see, we're very female strong, and I hope it will stay like this. It certainly also does, I think. I guess that the topic we work within is very interesting to a lot of women, which I love, because the industries we work for, as you can see in the slide before, like Givaudan, Nestle, Cargill, those are all very classical industrial producers with a lot of men in gray suits. And then we come in and bring a bit of young female power, which is actually great, and I think also very interesting to our customers.
Yes.
So Clara will give you a bit of more insights into our projects now.
Yes. So as Linda already mentioned, we are a very diverse bunch at RethinkResource, and we actually, oh, something happened here.
You can click back. Yeah.
And I wanted to show you a bit what kind of upcycling benefits we see and how we leverage on our expertise in order to really bring these upcycling benefits to life. I think this slide should have looked a bit different, but anyways, we see really three main areas when talking about upcycling and where we really see those benefits. So first of all, functional benefits. A lot of side streams, since we work with a lot of different materials, have different functionalities that they bring also to the applications that we use them in. So since I work in food science, I will also bring some food science examples here. But there is a company called Coa. They're using a side stream from the cocoa production industry. So it's the pulp where the cocoa beans are lying in is actually a side stream that they use in order to produce kind of like a juice out of it. And this can then be used as a sweetener in, for example, chocolate. So you have 100% cocoa-based chocolate, which is sweet, and it's used just with side streams, or like it's produced just from side streams from the industry. So this would be an example for a functional benefit that a side stream can still bring to a new product. Or also adding fiber or protein to new products in the food science field. Another really important benefit is, of course, the economic benefits. And there lies a lot of potential because also it has to be economically feasible in the end, right? So here we see a lot of potential since companies, when they produce side streams, they can increase their revenue stream by, for example, selling the side stream to other companies that can still use it and produce a product out of it. Or they can even integrate it into their own portfolio, increasing their production volume, and by that also increasing their revenue stream with something that is already in the company available. For example, you all know maybe whey shakes or also buttermilk products in the market. These are actually side streams from the dairy industry, and companies still sell these side streams to customers and increase thereby their revenue. And the last part is the narrative benefits. So here we also see a lot of potential since, of course, marketing is a very important part, and we've heard it already before. Storytelling is really a big leverage point that you can have, and also in our field. So upcycling and sustainability at the moment has a lot of momentum, of course, and especially with upcycling, you can have a very unique story that you can give to the product, and the consumer can kind of identify with this story or also this sort of personality of the product and is maybe intrigued by that and curious and buys this product. And I think those are really three main areas where we see the main benefits in upcycling, but I also want to show you a bit more tangible examples of projects that we have been working on to highlight or give you some more tangible examples here. So this first one is one of our first projects that we have been working on at RethinkResource, where we use the side streams from the milling industry, in this case wheat bran, to grow edible mushrooms on it. So we use it as a substrate, and here we again have a functional benefit of this ingredient in the substrate. It increases the water holding capacity and thereby also favors the growth of the mushrooms. So a lot of biological and agronomical science is here required, or knowledge was required here. And it was not only the scientific part or like the knowledge that was required, but also the hands-on part, right? We did trials where we tested different mushrooms, different substrates in order to really see which ones would be the best fit for the side stream that we have been working with. And another part was the Swissness that we could leverage on here, another storytelling part, because the side stream was from Switzerland, the mushrooms could be marketed as a Swiss product. So this was also quite a nice benefit. This project here actually gave us the opportunity for a follow-up project, which is now one of our biggest projects that we are working on. It's a pilot plant for insect production. So we're using the side streams from the milling industry to rear insects on them and produce fiber and protein-rich ingredients from insects. And these can then also be used in feed or food. So this is really a really big project that we are working on, and a very highly technical project. It requires lots of different expertises, so from biological expertise for the rearing of the insects to food processing again. So different technologies are used to process the insects into the ingredients, but also mechanical and software engineering for the whole setup of the production plant and the automation, for example. So lots of different expertises come together, which makes it quite complex, but also super interesting to work in this field. And I think it's a really one of the coolest projects that we are working on at the moment. Some other projects that I wanted to show are in some different fields. This one, for example, in the cosmetic field, we have been working with an egg producer who sells egg yolk to a mayonnaise manufacturer. And the egg white is actually a side stream in this case. And we have been working with him on concepts where we can use this egg white in cosmetic products. And different technologies also came into play here. For example, foaming the egg white in a certain way that it can give a creamy texture to a certain application in the cosmetic field. So it was also, again, a functional way of using this ingredient. And lots of material science and also chemical science was really required here in this project. And last but not least, something totally different again. So we have a project from the building industry where we used a side stream. You can see it here. It's a sludge. It's actually when you wash gravel, you have this kind of dirt that comes out at the end. And this sludge is a side stream in this industry. And we have been working on an application where you use this sludge as an ingredient in ceramics manufacturing. As you can see here, this bowl was made out of this. And again, a lot of material science was required, or the knowledge to really see what kind of formulation is needed, how does the material react, and then again, hands-on, trying it out and doing different tests. And I think this really shows also the diversity of projects that we work on, the complexity and the different fields of technology expertise that is required in our projects, which makes it super interesting. And I can only tell you that it's really, really amazing to work in this field. And if you want to know more about the projects, please reach out afterwards as well. We are still here, and thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you. One for you.
Thank you very much.
One for you. For reasons of fairness, maybe we can also have one question, if there's one question from the audience. Okay, then I have a question to complete this. Are you also hiring?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, can I please say something? Because yes, we are also hiring. And if there's an engineer here or knows a mechanical engineer that is looking for a new challenge, we're urgently looking for someone with this competence. It is within this exciting project Clara mentioned, and it is a completely new innovative field that nobody has ever engineered for before. So if you want a new challenge in engineering, please reach out to us.
Thank you so much, and warm welcome.
Thank you.